All right, all right. Infrared sauna man back again today. What we going to talk about, huh?
I'm not sure why I just did that. It seems fun, though. Got a little screwed up yesterday. Had some packages. Amazon or UPS couldn't get through the gate, so totally screwed up the day for videos. And so back again today with new videos, new questions. Today's infrared sauna question is actually a synopsis of a bunch of questions that I get. People phone in and email in all the time. Hey, what do you think about, Dr. Wendy Meyer's sauna recommendations? Hey, what do you think about Dr. Mercola's infrared sauna recommendations? Hey, what do you think about this doctor and what do you think about that doctor? I've got a couple of notes here on the computer, and I'm going to run through a few things. These are all really hard questions for me to answer, and I'm going to explain why. So I thought I'd make a video about it. My intention is not to be demeaning or cause trouble or anything like that for any of these people or individuals in particular, because a lot of them are so busy and they do so many different things. It's very unrealistic probably for them to test all kinds of stuff like I do or in the same manner. They just have too many things going on and that's not their primary business model. So in their defense, a lot of times they're just going off of the best information that they have available to them at the time. However, that really, really, really rubs me the wrong way. Because every single time somebody sends me one of their stupid-ass interviews, and it's full of completely conflicting information. 1 month they'll have on an infrared sauna expert, from some company or a manufacturer, and they, make a certain type of sauna or this and that, and they have an hour-long interview where they grill the guy or gal about, what type of infrared sauna it is, why it's the best, this, that, and the other. And then the next month, they'll have on someone completely different from another type of infrared sauna company or manufacturer or whatever, and they grill them, and there's no clear stance. Like the doctor or any of these people, they're not, from what I've seen, they're not buying each one of these units and then trying them in their own house and then taking a stance on and offering clarification for the readers. Like, okay, I tried this, this, and this. My gut feeling is, I got the best results with this. Here's the quantifiable or measurable difference that we can see with this, and blah, blah, blah. Here's what I think you should do if you're in this situation, and if, you're in this camp, this is probably the best sauna for you. There's none of that. It's just, month after month, a new guest, new type of sauna, new this, new that. That, to me, is a bunch of bullshit, and I can't make heads or tails out of it because no one ever offers any type of conclusion. Or, I understand that everything is always evolving. And I, too, change things. I go back on things that I said if I find out something is different or better or whatever. I don't see that happening. And people keep emailing me these interviews, and I'm not going to continue to sit through 3-hour-long, discourse of stuff where the people don't care about getting to the point. So let's go through a couple things. My first response was, I've got some bullet points here from different questions. And my first response, I kind of already hit on it, but it's just every time one of those podcasters or whatever is on the show, they have someone on, a different sauna or a different type of sauna is all of a sudden the best. It's like, well, who is fact-checking this stuff? And more important to me, forget the fact-checking, because a lot of that shit is bullshit too. Who's using these things and giving you a seat of the pants recommendation or opinion? Just tell me how it performs. Tell me what it's going to do for me, and tell me how it feels to you compared to the one that you had on last month. And, which one you think would be best for which person or what type of situation we're in. If I got Lyme disease or I've got mold poisoning from, having black mold in my house from a construction project gone bad, or I've got heavy metals because I've had, mercury amalgams, or I used to be a welder or whatever, and I need to detox heavy metals. Get to the fucking point on what's going to work best for me. Is it near infrared? Is it far infrared? Is it full spectrum? Is it, professional, whatever they call it, commercial grade and all this other bullshit? Tell me. And that's my biggest frustration with a lot of this stuff. And it's why I can't answer some of the questions that you guys email me. But I'm going to do my damnedest right now to give you my opinion on what I think of this stuff and why, my responses suck, quite frankly. A lot of times when I respond to these things, there isn't a whole lot that I can't put words in another doctor's mouth or another researcher's mouth or another medical expert's mouth And I should clarify, total disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I don't portray one. I'm not a sauna expert, really. I mean, I have a lot of experience with them, but I don't go around claiming to be like the #1 world's most renowned sauna expert. I just have a lot of EMF equipment. I'm committing to finding the best health equipment to improve my own health because I've been through some shit. And I'm just a regular guy. I just happen to have 10 years of web development and internet marketing experience. And I happened to be working on a personal blog passion project that I was building to transition out of, a certain role. That's neither here nor there. I had a lot of experience. I chose, when I had some hardships with saunas and some health stuff, I chose to start blogging about it. People asked me to do more, and there you go. Here we are. So now we have, and then the links to these websites, like Dr. Mercola's website specifically. There's stuff on there from saunas that he used to sell that are no longer in business, no longer being sold. They were just rebranded saunas anyway. I mean, you can look up the supplier list and see where they came from. It's not that difficult. And everyone thinks that it's all this special kind of stuff. It's not. I hate to say it. I don't want to badmouth anyone because a lot of the saunas are made by other companies, this, that, and the other. What really matters is the company that's selling them, whether they're the primary manufacturer or just a reseller or a rebrand or whatever, is do they really care about the end product? Are they willing to put a quality control team in place? Are they committed to having the best VOC and EMF standards? Are they users of the product themselves, or are they just some giant corporate company that, is trying to build a huge $1 million business because they can? And there's a difference. There's a huge difference. So now we have websites from some of these podcasters and doctors and all this kind of shit that are filled with conflicting information from a supposed expert. Because every time they interview somebody, I mean, it's not like they've been friends with this person for 5 or 10 years in a lot of the cases. They just found out about them, or they hit them up to have them on the show. And it's just a pitch fest, one right after the other. And people send me this stuff month in and month out. And it took me a little while to figure out what was going on. And then I finally realized, I'm like, oh, so every time they have somebody on, it's just a pitch fest for this new and improved thing. But at the end of the day, where is there like a comparison? Because, well, which is it? Is it near infrared? Is it far infrared? Is it full spectrum? Is it near infrared therapy or red light therapy outside of a sauna at a specific wavelength that we need to do? Is that going to detox us from heavy metals? Is one of those better for Lyme versus somebody with heavy metal toxicity versus mold poisoning versus just chronic fatigue, anxiety, brain fog, just trying to clean up their shit? Tell us, what the fuck? That drives me crazy. Like crazy to the point of the questions pile up, and I have to make a video like this as kind of a default response as to why I can't specifically comment to people and say, this doctor's recommendations are bullshit, these are good, these are bad. It's because it's all over the map. Some of the people that they're having on the shows are pretty good and very credible. Other people I've never heard of in my life. Some of the claims that they make are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, a guy just sent me a question in yesterday's video about people building up a tolerance to infrared heat. I've never heard that in my life. I don't know who perpetuates this stuff. And while I'm not trying to say that it's right or wrong or that I'm upset for the guy sending in the question. I love the questions. It's just, from my perspective, seeing where some of this stuff originates, a lot of the time it's just from people trying to get a leg up on competitors that own a product company, and they're just trying to pitch them, or they're trying to like weasel their way in from existing pillars in the marketplace and take market share. I mean, that's really what's happening. And it's, in the case of the interviews and the Mercola stuff and all these other podcasts and YouTube shows and blah, 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 it's like, you think you get somewhere and you have a good understanding of what kind of sauna is going to work well for you. Oh, wait, new interview. In now medical saunas, they're the best. Medical saunas are the best because of X, Y, and Z that you can't exactly explain. But you don't go back and compare that to every other person that you've had on the fucking show. And, think about the differences between the sauna that you're talking about today and the other 4 that you've talked about over the last 8 months. So it leaves people, it really screws things up. It really does. But anyway, I'm kind of done with the rant. Long story short, for me, I go back to traditional far infrared therapy every single time. It's the workhorse in any sauna. I've been saying that for a year. Sure, there are benefits to red light therapy. There are benefits to near infrared. Whether or not you need those in a sauna is highly, highly debatable. There is no such thing as a near-infrared sauna. I wish I could come up with a name that would not cause more confusion, because I'd love to call near-infrared saunas something different, because they're not near-infrared saunas. If you isolate a near-infrared wavelength and you sit in front of it for 2 hours, you will not sweat. Your body does not heat up. That is not going to generate a detoxifying sweat. I've tried it. I've built them. I've done it over and over and over. It does not work. So these near-infrared saunas, just for a little bit of clarification, are really a mixture of heat from heat lamps or quartz halogen heaters or whatever. If you're in a full spectrum sauna, there's different types of things going on there. Some of them have a ceramic type heater that is supposedly emitting near infrared. Then you have the issue of, EMFs, additional EMFs being introduced into the sauna. And then you also have the issue of, okay, well, how far is the body now from the near infrared source? Because distance matters with red light therapy and with any kind of NIR therapy. The other thing with the bulbs is that it's not just near infrared. There's far infrared in that full spectrum there, or in that complete spectrum or the curve of the analysis, if you ever look at it. And so there's skin healing benefits and all kinds of other things that happen with near infrared saunas. And so if the people that are using them are in need of stuff like that and they get that benefit, that's great. But to say that is the near infrared is actually doing the work, or is making you sweat, or is generating a sauna-like experience is a fallacy. Try it. Go buy a bunch of Juve lights, which is nothing but near infrared. Order whatever wavelength you want. They've got 600 something nanometers, 800, whatever, but there's no far infrared. Fuck it, buy 5 of those things and sit in a circle in front of them and see if you sweat. I guarantee you won't. I bet you $1,000. Anybody who wants to take that bet, the offer is open. Public YouTube video, do it for me. Anyway, and so, we get into all these negligible benefits, like you've got to have full spectrum now in order to get a complete detox. Seriously? What are you talking about when you say that? Who comes up with this stuff? And who's fact-checking it? Who's testing it? Because I've been in a full spectrum sauna. I've been in a full spectrum sauna that allows you to run different modes to where you can turn off the near infrared and just do far infrared. And I've got to tell you, the session feels almost identical whether or not you have the full spectrum on or just the far infrared on. Now, granted, they don't offer a way to turn off the far infrared, because if they did, you wouldn't have a sauna experience. So what does that tell you? I think we'll leave the video there. I don't know if this will be helpful for anybody. My intention really is just to make sure that people are not continuing to be misled by the latest and greatest podcast host or interviewee or product or pitch fest or whatever. Because people are, when my health is at its worst, I'm vulnerable. I'm willing to do anything to help myself. And it's like some of this stuff I think is taking advantage of people. And so my intention by making these particular type videos isn't really to bash people, but really to shed some light on the tried and true fundamentals that have been helping people for over 15 years and heal themselves in saunas, and not get caught up in the marketing and the guru speak, and paying $15,000 for some crazy sauna where they could have spent $3,500 and gotten the same benefit, and they could have used the extra money to get other health equipment that would have been beneficial for other things. That's all.